talk English.
Picture yourself at work. You've got, a major presentation, really high stakes.
Oh, I already feel the anxiety building.
Right. So you decide to wear something new, something a little different, maybe a bit more tailored than your usual style.
Okay, setting the scene. I like it.
So you walk into the break room feeling confident, and a coworker looks up from their coffee. They pause, they look you up and down, and they say, "Wow, you're so brave for wearing that."
Oh, no. The absolute worst.
You smile instinctively, right? You say, "Thank you." But then the temperature in the room just drops. The ambient chatter totally stops. Two other people suddenly become very, very interested in staring at their phones.
Yep, the classic pivot to the phone.
Exactly. You sit there and your stomach just completely drops and you're thinking, wait, did I just get complimented or did I just get insulted?
You got both. I mean, you walked right into this invisible, incredibly complex web of American social language.
It's terrifying because, to the untrained ear, the words are entirely positive. Brave is a virtue, right? And wow implies awe.
Yeah, but the room went quiet because everyone else heard the subtext. They heard this targeted strike hidden right inside the praise.
Which is exactly what we are unpacking in today's deep dive. We're looking at a sociolinguistic breakdown of American complimenting.
It's such a fascinating topic because American culture uses this hyper-positive linguistic surface to mask a massive spectrum of intent.
Right, and our mission for you listening today is to decode these hidden rules so you know exactly what is actually being said and exactly how to respond without feeling totally flustered.
Because compliments here, they aren't just expressions of admiration, they're tools. On one end, you have sincere connection. In the middle, you have these rapid-fire social greetings. And on the far end, you have weaponized insults.
So let's start with the baseline, which is just the sheer volume of praise in American culture. I mean, if you walk down a street in a U.S. city or just, spend 10 minutes in an office, you are bombarded with it.
Oh, absolutely. Love your shirt. You're crushing it. Incredible energy today.
It's constant. And for someone who isn't used to it or who comes from a culture where words are, weighed very carefully, it can feel totally overwhelming.
It can feel fake.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If a coworker passes me in the hallway and says, "You look amazing," but they don't even break their stride, aren't they essentially lying?
So the sociolinguistic term for this is performative language, or empty compliments, and it really helps to understand the history here.
How so?
Well, historically, the U.S. is this highly mobile, geographically expansive society of strangers. People were constantly moving, encountering new groups, and they need to establish trust quickly. So they developed this linguistic tool called the social lubricant.
The social lubricant. I love that term.
It's essentially a quick, low-stakes way to signal, hey, I'm friendly and I am not a threat.
So a performative compliment isn't a lie because the intent isn't deception.
Exactly. The intent is connection. Saying love your shoes isn't this profound aesthetic appreciation. They aren't going to go buy the shoes.
Right. They don't actually care about the shoes.
Not at all. It's the verbal equivalent of a nod or a smile. It eases the friction of just, existing in a shared space.
It's a ping, like a sonar ping, verifying that we are cool with each other.
A ping is the perfect analogy. And recognizing it as a ping is so crucial because the most common mistake people make is responding with something the sources call false modesty.
Oh, the deflection. This is so awkward when it happens.
Someone says, great jacket, and you immediately tear the jacket down. You're like, oh, this old thing. I found it in the discount bin. The zipper is completely broken. It makes my shoulders look weird.
Right. You just dump all this negativity onto their ping.
And when you do that, you are treating a performative ping as a literal assessment. It completely breaks the social contract.
Because the person extending the compliment was just trying to offer a tiny drop of social lubricant.
Exactly. And by rejecting it, you introduce friction. You basically make them feel awkward for trying to be friendly.
So the actionable advice here for the listener is beautifully simple. You just accept an ad.
Yes. Keep it light.
You say, "Thanks, I love this color too," or "Thank you, I've really been enjoying this project."
Yeah.
You just take the positive energy, validate the connection, and pass it back.
You keep the gears moving. But, recognizing the social lubricant leads us to a much trickier problem.
Which is?
If half the praise we receive is just a performative ping, how do you identify a genuine compliment?
Right. How do you know they actually mean it? Well, the sources outline a very specific marker for this, a sociolinguistic tell. A genuine American compliment almost always includes a highly specific detail or a because.
Yes, specificity is the ultimate proof of attention. Vague praise like, you look great, or good job, that can be automated. It requires zero cognitive load.
But if someone says, you look amazing, the tailoring on that blazer is incredibly sharp. They've shifted from the performative into the genuine.
I think of the performative compliment like an automated polite handshake at a massive networking event.
That makes sense. You don't reject the handshake just because it isn't a deeply emotional embrace. You accept it for the social ritual it is.
Right. But when someone stops, looks you in the eye, and gives you that specific detail, they are holding on to the handshake. They're stopping the conveyor belt to have a real moment with you.
So the baseline is the handshake.
Okay.
The specificity is the connection. Which brings us to, honestly, the dark arts of American social language.
The weaponized praise.
Because if positive syntax is the baseline and specificity is the marker of truth, what happens when those tools are used aggressively?
You get the backhanded compliment, and this is where the psychology gets genuinely fascinating.
Tell me about it.
I look at the backhanded compliment as a sociolinguistic Trojan horse. The positive structure of the sentence, the wow, the great job, is the wooden horse. It's designed to slip past your conversational defenses.
Because social etiquette dictates that you have to accept a compliment graciously.
Exactly. You have to say thank you. But hiding inside that positive structure is a targeted criticism that basically attacks your self-esteem the moment the conversation ends.
I feel like we need to demonstrate this live so people can hear the tone.
Oh, I can absolutely give you one.
Okay, do it. I'm ready. Throw a backhanded compliment at me.
Okay. You are doing a really fantastic job leading this deep dive for someone who usually just relies on their notes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I felt my heart rate spike a little bit there.
Right. It stings.
It totally stings. Because if I get defensive and say, I don't just rely on my notes, I look insecure, the Trojan horse worked.
Yep. You're fighting the compliment.
But if I just say thank you, I'm basically agreeing with your assessment that I usually just read off a script. I'm trapped.
It is the perfect trap. And in that example, I used one of the biggest red flag words the sources talk about, the for clause.
Let's break those down, the tripwires. So the for clause, like, you're so smart for someone who didn't go to college.
The word for is a baseline reset. It establishes the speaker's underlying assumption about you. They are explicitly stating that their normal expectation for someone of your background is low.
Right, they're praising you for temporarily rising above the gutter they placed you in.
It's devastating because the first half triggers a dopamine hit. You're so smart, you feel the warmth. Then the fit for someone hits, and it just turns into humiliation.
Ugh. Okay, the next tripwire is the honesty knife. I can't believe how well you did. Honestly, I expected worse.
The honesty clause is a way for the speaker to center their own judgment rather than your achievement.
Well, that's such a good way to put it.
They think they are praising your current success, but what they're actually doing is retroactively revealing their lack of faith in you. It tells you that up until this exact moment, they totally thought you were going to fail.
Okay, the next red flag word is arguably the most common, and I think it slips out subconsciously a lot, actually.
Oh, yes. This presentation is actually really good.
It's that tiny micro-expression of surprise that usually comes with it that twists the knife.
It is the linguistic equivalent of a double take. When someone is surprised by your competence, they are implying that incompetence is your standard operating procedure.
Even if they don't consciously mean to insult you, the word actually functions as a leak.
Right. Their true expectations are leaking through the performative positivity.
And finally, the first try dismissal. You did a fantastic job on this for your first try.
This is a pure power dynamic play. It's totally designed to establish a hierarchy.
By framing your effort as beginner level.
Exactly. The speaker positions themselves as the veteran, the expert who is graciously evaluating the novice. It's a way of patting you on the head while keeping you firmly in your place.
Regardless of how much expertise you actually have. Okay, so we know how they work. What are the actionable options for the listener when they get hit with one?
The sources offer 3. Option 1 is the most graceful, which is to simply treat it as genuine.
Just ignore the insult completely.
Yep. You aggressively filter out the subtext, say a bright thank you, and change the subject. It denies the aggressor the satisfaction of seeing you flustered.
Option 2 requires a bit more nerve, right?
Mm-hmm.
You call it out playfully. You smile, make direct eye contact, and say, I can't tell if that was a compliment or not.
I love option 2. It forces them to explain their own insult, which usually makes them backtrack immediately.
But option 3 is the true power move.
It is the ultimate response to a backhanded compliment.
You look them dead in the eye, keep your voice perfectly calm, and say, "Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment."
I'll take that as a compliment. It is polite, but it is absolute ice.
It's so good. Why does it work so well mechanically?
Because it strips away their plausible deniability. By saying, I will take that as a compliment, you are signaling that you see exactly what they did.
You recognize the insult hiding inside the wooden horse.
Yes. You extract only the positive syntax, and you leave their negativity sitting out in the open. You maintain total professional decorum while letting them know the trap failed.
I highly recommend keeping that phrase in your mental back pocket, because we need to shift gears now. The absolute most dangerous arena for these linguistic traps isn't a dinner party. It is the workplace.
The professional minefield. In the workplace, compliments are no longer just social glue. They are the metrics of your livelihood.
They dictate your performance reviews, your promotions, your salary. Which brings us into the highly treacherous gray area of faint praise.
Faint praise is so tricky. It isn't an outright insult. It's technically positive language delivered with such a profound lack of enthusiasm that it functions as a criticism.
It is the weaponization of neutrality.
Exactly. In an American corporate culture that is, hyper positive and also terrified of HR disputes, managers often use faint praise as an escape hatch.
They are trapped by the social obligation to say something nice, so they retreat into absolute uninspiring neutrality. Let's look at the phrases. It's not bad. That was certainly something. Well, that was a bold choice.
When a culture expects every minor success to be labeled incredible or crushing it, a phrase like, it's not bad, is a deafening insult.
Right. And certainly something means the speaker is actively refusing to engage with the material.
And bold choice, as we discussed at the very beginning with the word brave, means you have violated a norm and they strongly disapprove.
But the real danger is informal performance reviews. The sources break down common review phrases that sound like glowing praise to the uninitiated, but are actually total misses. For example, what if your boss says, "You work so hard"?
On the surface, that sounds wonderful, right? We all want a strong work ethic, but American corporate culture quietly fetishizes the effortless genius.
The natural disruptor who just intrinsically gets it.
Right. So if a manager's primary praise for you is you work so hard, they are focusing entirely on your input because your output wasn't impressive enough to mention.
Ouch. It implies you lack natural strategic insight, and you're just grinding your way to adequacy, praising the sweat to ignore the skill.
Exactly.
What if they tell you, "You're always so enthusiastic"?
This is a classic label for junior employees who haven't mastered professional restraint. It implies you are exhaustingly energetic, maybe eager to please, but lacking the gravitas required for leadership.
Okay, what about "you're really dependable"?
Context dictates everything here. If your role requires flawless execution of repetitive tasks, dependable is gold. But if you are angling for a role as a creative director or trying to prove you're an innovator,
Yeah, you don't want to be just dependable.
no, dependable paints you as a safe, boring set of hands who will never take a risk.
And then there's the phrase that strikes absolute terror into the heart of anyone sitting across from their manager, the ultimate review killer. You have a lot of potential.
And the most devastating forward-looking insult available in business.
Why does it hurt so much? Potential is a good thing.
Because in a performance review, your compensation is based on your current execution. Potential means you are not there yet. You are not currently delivering at the expected level. You might someday be valuable, but today you are just a speculative asset.
Wow. Okay, so we've decoded the performative pings, we've learned to disarm the backhanded Trojan horses, and we've analyzed faint praise. The final piece of the puzzle is learning how to do this correctly ourselves.
How to give a genuine compliment.
Right. How do we give a compliment that actually builds trust?
The sources provide a masterclass formula. It is incredibly straightforward, but remarkably rare. The formula is specific observation plus impact, or what you saw plus why it matters.
Let's contrast the wrong way and the right way. The wrong way is, "Great job in the meeting today."
It's vague, it's forgettable, it's a performative ping.
Right, so apply the formula. Instead you say, "The way you handled the client's pushback on the budget today was incredibly smooth. You stayed calm and it saved the account." That takes real skill.
The specific observation is handling the budget pushback. The impact is saving the account.
In a culture where vague, hyperpositive compliments are cheap, Actual focused attention is the most valuable currency you can offer someone.
Absolutely. Okay, to lock these concepts in, I think we need to run a quick drill for the
Oh,
listeners.
I'm so ready. Let's do it.
We're going to run a rapid fire assessment. I will read a statement straight from the sources and you have to categorize it. Genuine, performative, or backhanded. 5 rounds. Fast and competitive. Ready.
Round 1. You look so much better with your hair down.
Backhanded.
Yeah.
The invisible second half of that sentence is because you usually look terrible.
Spot on. Round 2. That presentation was incredibly compelling. The way you structured the data visualization made it so easy to follow.
Genuine. It nails the formula. Specific observation on the data visualization and the impact is that it was easy to follow.
Round 3. Oh my gosh, you're just so talented.
Performative, social lubricant, it's warm, it's friendly, but it lacks any specific detail to anchor it to reality.
Okay, round 4. Listen closely to the wording here. This draft is actually really good.
Backhanded. The red flag word actually ruins it.
Okay, wait, I'm going to argue with you on this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hear people say this all the time when they are just genuinely surprised by how much they enjoyed something. They aren't trying to be insulting.
I mean, you're right that the conscious intent might not be malicious, but sociolinguistically, we have to look at the function of the word. The function of actually is to signal a reversal of expectation. It reveals that their baseline assumption was that the draft would be bad. The receiver hears that surprise, and the surprise is the insult. So it functions as a backhanded compliment, regardless of intent.
The impact outlives the intent. Fair enough. I'll give you that one. Final round. Round 5. You are so brave for quitting your steady job to start a company.
Backhanded. They totally think you are making a catastrophic mistake and driving your life off a cliff.
The word brave strikes again. And that brings us to the end of our sociolinguistic map. You listening to this are walking away today with a fundamentally upgraded toolkit for navigating American social language.
You really are. You know the mechanics of the social lubricant and why you should never respond with false modesty.
You know how faint praise functions as a corporate escape hatch? You know the tripwire words for honestly, actually, that signal a backhanded compliment, and you have the ultimate power move to disarm them. I'll take that as a compliment.
You can now hear the subtext operating beneath the hyperpositivity.
So, a call to action for you listening. Think back through your own life and your own career. What is the absolute best backhanded compliment you've ever received? Drop it in the comments. The one that was crafted so perfectly, you didn't even realize you'd been insulted until you were driving home hours later.
Oh, I can't wait to read those. And, you know, to close us out, there is a fascinating new layer to this that builds entirely on everything we've just discussed.
What's that?
Think about how much of our communication has shifted to text-based platforms. Remote work, Slack, Teams, email.
Right. I mean, almost all of it for a lot of people.
Exactly. And as we've learned today, the entire system of American social language relies on identifying the subtext beneath positive words. But text strips away all the microexpressions.
Oh, that's true.
It strips away the tone of voice, the slight hesitation, the raised eyebrow. When your manager types bold choice on Slack, you have absolutely zero acoustic data to help you determine if it's a genuine thrill at your innovation or an HR-approved escape hatch for a project they hate.
The Trojan horse becomes entirely invisible.
Exactly. We are taking a culture that already uses hyperpositivity to mask its true feelings and filtering it through a medium that completely erases emotional nuance. It leaves us entirely in the dark, guessing at the intent behind the ping.
Which makes the formula for a genuine compliment specificity plus impact more vital than ever. Because if you want to be understood now, you can't rely on tone anymore. You have to put the proof in the words themselves.
Absolutely.
Keep observing the language around you, keep decoding the subtext, and if you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss next week's deep dive. Thanks for listening.